Finally, some family members took her seriously at that point. They saw that she became their guinea pig who had always looked and felt great until I took the fat out of my diet, until she removed the fat. But now we get to her question. To me, is that if now that I am back and plan to be back on my original way of low carb eating for the rest of my life, are there any issues that I feel are necessary for her to know if I would like to get pregnant soon with her husband? Of course, my OBGYN will obviously want me to stay away from the way I'm eating now, but what is my opinion? Does it change anything once there is another human growing inside me? I don't think it is. It will, but I value your opinion. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I will be following you throughout your shows and hopefully perhaps be able to meet you one day. I love this part of the question. I will never forget sugar equals sugar equals sugar. So have a great sugarless day. Wow. I mean, that was a phenomenal, phenomenal question. The biggest chapter in my book, Genocide, How Your Doctor's Dietary Ignorance Will Kill You, is the chapter on pregnancy. It's the biggest chapter. The next biggest chapter is the chapter on obesity, okay? You do not stop the way of eating when you become pregnant. You do not. You continue to eat the way you're eating. A human being is mostly water, fat, cholesterol, protein. A mere 2% of the human body and brain is carbohydrate, a mere 2%. You need to eat more fat, cholesterol, and protein while you're pregnant and back off on the carbohydrates. When you continue on a low-carb regimen throughout your pregnancy, before you're pregnant, during your pregnancy, after your pregnancy, and I'll encourage breastfeeding after your child is born, you will not develop the afflictions, the maladies that a lot of pregnant women see today. What are they? Obesity, gestational diabetes, pregnancy-induced hypertension, preeclampsia, which is basically swelling in the ankles, protein in the urine, and high blood pressure. Preeclampsia can lead to eclampsia, which is a life-threatening seizure disorder which will kill both the mom and the developing baby. So major pregnancy-related complications will be completely eliminated when you back off on the carbs. Is this my belief? No. These are the facts. I've had the privilege of working with thousands of pregnant women throughout my career who may have suffered from those disorders I mentioned before, but they don't experience them when they get to me. And you know what? They don't need medication either. I have had many, shall I say argument? Shall I use the word disputation? No, it was a downright fight with the OBs when I tell the pregnant ladies the correct way to eat. They want to put them on medications. They want to do this, that, and the other thing. Well, by golly, you're not a gestational diabetic because you're deficient in glipizide or insulin. You're a gestational diabetic because you're eating too much sugar. Now, here's the brilliance of the medical profession, all right? And my glasses keep sliding down, so I apologize for that. I'm actually trying to push them up. Here's the brilliance of the medical profession, okay? Mrs. A comes in, and she's pregnant, and she's got gestational diabetes. Oh, well, you know what? Eat some more fruit and whole grains, and you'll get better. Really? Are you kidding me? This is the pervasive, grotesque, profound, abysmal ignorance I am battling against, okay? And before I continue answering her question, most of my colleagues think that this is a fad, that this is something that just popped up. No. I was just this past week perusing some of the older literature back from, let's say, a recent year of 1825, where a textbook of physiology of taste was printed that describes exactly what I'm saying today, which is to eat more fat, cholesterol, and protein, less carbohydrates, and you'll see less, as they said in their time, corpulence. Corpulence. And if we were living back then, we would be corpulent. Corpulent just means you're overweight, you're obese. And in that book, Physiology of Taste, hold on one second. 1825, okay? That's when that book came out. All right, this is close to 200 years ago. Their claim, you're overweight, you have problems, you eat more fat, you eat more cholesterol, you eat more protein, you eat less carbs. This is almost 200 years ago. This ain't no fad, ladies and gentlemen. This is the correct way to eat. So let's get back to pregnancy. Safe to do. Will be discouraged by your physician, will definitely be discouraged by your high-risk obstetrician, who, of course, thinks they're doing the right thing, but they're really not. They're not telling you the correct way to eat. Thank you again for that question. Wonderful question. Let me take another question here. I'm actually going to have to move to the foods, so I think I'm only going to have one One more question. Here we go. Okay, this deals with actually a medical affliction. Dr. Jim. By the way, I like Dr. Jim. Dr. Jim is cool. I have just finished listening to your Ultimate Wellness with Dr. James Carlson show on YouTube. Even though I am quite well read in terms of nutrition, I still found the show fascinating. He likes my no-nonsense approach. I waste little time separating fact from fiction. Maybe you can be as helpful with my query. He has rosacea, which is a skin condition where you get dilated capillaries on the cheeks, on the nose. I'm sure a lot of viewers are familiar with this. And he goes on to say it's characterized by persistent red cheeks and visible capillaries on my nose. He's tried creams, ointments, even a short stint on oral minocycline. Minocycline is an antibiotic similar to tetracycline. Lately, I've started supplementing my diet with hydrochloric acid tablets, riboflavin. Riboflavin is vitamin B2, and pure sulfur. He's optimistic that they will help cure this facial condition. Is there anything that I can recommend? Hope to hear from you soon. And his name is Andrew. Well, rosacea is an inflammatory condition of the capillaries. The capillaries become dilated. They create inflammation of the skin. Carbohydrate consumption increases the body's production of inflammatory mediators. So, Andrew, my comment to you would be back off on the carbs. Back off on the carbs. Eat more fat, cholesterol, and protein, because as we increase our consumption of saturated fat, I have seen in my practice skin conditions go away or become very easily treatable. Psoriasis, eczema have improved tremendously. Some patients have the skin conditions resolve completely. I had one patient who came in to see me. She had this skin rash on her leg, and I told her the correct way to eat, which is, of course, backing off on the carbs, more fat, more cholesterol, more protein. And she told me about the skin lesion. I asked about it. She says, well, it's been there since I've been born. And I was like, okay, we'll watch. She came in to see me about 4 months later. The skin rash was gone. I am not making this up. I am not making this up at all. This is true. This is true. I'm actually going to get into. Yeah, let me start with the foods, because I have a lot of foods to go through, and I really do not want to run out of time here. Let's see. Well, the first thing I'm going to grab is butter. Can't eat butter. Really? Well, you should eat butter, and you better eat butter, and you better avoid partially hydrogenated oils. That's your margarine, okay? And I did discuss margarine, before. Having said that, butter is better. Everybody say that. Butter is better, okay? I'm going to grab the mozzarella. This is let me just say something. There was fear buzzing in the studio that we're going to get sued. We're going to get sued. I had Cheerios in front of me, and who makes Cheerios? I forget. Post, I don't know, General Mills. We're going to get sued. No, we're not. And here's the reason why. Because I'm telling the truth. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm reading right from the side package and label. Now, the other thing is, I'm not being endorsed or sponsored by anything that's in front of me, by No Foods. I can talk freely. Nobody's pulling my strings, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Paleo, whole milk mozzarella. It could have been Stop and Shop brand. Doesn't matter, all right? Paleo. Now, you got to be careful, because here I am shopping, and I want the whole milk paleo. I don't want the fat-free. I don't want the 97% fat-free. I don't want the 1% skim. I want the whole milk version, because it's got more fat in it. And as I've said before, the more you take fat out of a product, the more carbohydrates or sugar are within it. So here I am searching for paleo. Everything in front of me, right in front of my eyes, 97% fat-free, fat-free, fat-free. And I'm looking, I'm like, where the heck is the regular paleo, man? I mean, you trying to kill me? I mean, no offense, Mr. Bones, but are you trying to kill me? And I had to actually get on my hands and knees and scurry like a little rat, okay, till I found like 3 or 4 of these on the bottom. This is the problem with our society. We think that fat is bad. Let's stop believing that fat is bad. It is not bad. We got to eat more fat. We have to eat more fat.